Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to showcase the first edition of my new life stacking Burning Arrow Vigour Ignite Elementalist as a comparison to the EK Ignite that I uploaded yesterday. If you remember, I tried out some tankier version of EK Ignite using the Mahog's Shield and the Dawnbreaker and stuff like that, going into the damage conversion, and I didn't like it at all. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do a life stacking Burning Arrow as a comparison on how these two basically perform. And oh boy, this character has half the investment but has more than twice as much damage. It is way more tankier and it's a lot faster than EK Ignite from the previous video, right? So today I want to just showcase this version. There are multiple versions that you can play as a life stacker. You can take the Untouched Soul Amulet, you can take the Apostate. Let me actually quickly pull up my Burning Arrow video from last season, Burning Arrow mbXtreme, so we can go over that. So that was basically the last version that did all the Ubers plus T17, right? And if we take a look at the Gold Rim, KW, we have the Apostate, which is the chest that basically says your ES bases are counting now as life. And the Untouched Soul is an amulet that says for each empty red socket you get 48 to maximum life. So this build didn't have any sockets, everything empty, to gain as much life as possible. This version, on the other hand, that I'm playing right now, is actually using the new Chaos Heart with 1,000 extra life, which is pretty much the same as using the Apostate with the Untouched Soul and the new ES bases. Remember, this League 325, GGG gave us new, better bases. It's not a Hubris Circlet anymore. I think it's a Lich Circlet. This is like better than the Hubris, so you can get a lot more life. Problem is, the Adorned got nerfed. I still think it's 100% worth it to run an Adorned system over here, right? And I having a 92%, this cost me 11 divines today. 100% one goes for over 100 divines. So this is like a lot cheaper. My Widow Hail I got for 6 divines with the white sockets and a 244%. So as I said, like 60, 70 divines invested in the current version. And it's like way stronger and better. So as I said, still using the Adorned despite the nerfs, but we have new T1 life rolls, so we can like get the 129 life on our gloves, the Chaos with 1,000 flat life, and then we can use other things, right? But they are like very comparable, right? The main difference here is basically the Ashes of the Stars, which is insanely strong with this setup. Why is that? Because you get 30% quality of all skill gems. Burning Arrow, Vigour, and these, by the way, there is no Awakened gems over here. It's just like level 19 gems that are leveled up today, because this character is now level 89, so we're still not even remotely close of end of gear, right? So what this has as quality is damage with Ignite, more damage. So basically, the 30% quality gives us actually 30% more damage, and it also gives us 20% quality on Snipe, or 30%, which gives us an additional stage. So now we can basically channel up Snipe to 8 stages. And the extra stage plus the 30% more damage, acting as an extra support gem, more or less, right, is like, in my opinion, way better. Yes, the Untouched Soul version would have more life overall, maybe like end game like 28,000 or so, and the Chaos has like 23,000, but this version has like a lot more damage, and we're talking about probably 20-30 million Ignite DPS more. And I want to explain here something. I've done the PUBs, right? And as I said in the last season's version, I was so fast on Ignite Cap, and even this, without Awakened Gems, without anything, and actually going more tanky with Endurance charges, we're actually on 25.8 million Ignite DPS already, right? So the thing is, this build, if you put it up correctly, can reach over 100 million Ignite DPS. And you might wonder now, what do you need that Ignite cap is on 35.7 or something, right? This is true, but it always depends on which content you're doing. For example, if you have Ignite cap against Guardians or Shaper DPS, right, and you go against Ubers, Ubers have 70% less damage taken. So you can actually get way higher Ignite cap on the Ubers, basically, because you can basically have 100 million Ignite DPS that would be about 32 million Ignite DPS against Ubers, which is not dot capped against Ubers, right? So there is the potential there, but this version has like so freaking much damage, and with my mediocre gear, we're literally at the start of stacking. And don't get me wrong, I know 50 to 70 divines is quite an investment for a lot of people, but talking about an Adorned setup and the possibilities, we're talking many mirrors, right? All right. What also can the Chaos Hard version do for us? It is basically giving us the option, because with the Apostate, we are basically bound on energy shield basis to get the life, right? If the Chaos version has like the same amount of life as the Apostate, we are free to use whatever base we want. So I want to go with armor evasion, get spell suppression, get endurance charges, get a lot of armor, and make the character a lot tankier than the usual build, because you know, you can get to like 200,000 or even more EHP on this build while having like freaking 100 million dot DPS and like 300% movement speed if you opt into a Mage Blood later on, right? So, yeah. I would say as a map showcase, so you see this build in action, and then we can talk about the mechanics and the skill tree stuff, right? We're gonna do the same map as yesterday, just as a comparison versus the EK Ignite, right? So we run double shrine, breach, then we have, what was that? Extra pack size and breaches. We take a map, and actually I have to run this with Deli because I'm out of like Deli scarabs. But it doesn't really matter. And there is still the version, I'm running this now with GMP, so for clearing, and the good thing is, if you have a good quiver like the one that I have here, I bought this today for 32 divines. The new T1 life modifier, 144 life, and with Widow Hail, it's insane amounts of life. I think when I equip that, or unequip that, we're talking about like 2,500 life that I get just from the quiver, right? The movement speed times 3.5 or 3.44, whatever here, right? So 30% movement speed, we get like a shit ton, like 150 dot multi. This is just so insane. And the quiver with the attack speed base plus the attack speed craft gives you like, I don't know, like 70% attack speed. That's why we can channel it quite fast. And I would like to get, instead of Scourge, I would like to have action speed and even more attack speed. The Devotee's Devotion, super nice. Dexterity, attack speed, Chaos Res, movement speed. You know, it's... As I said, early on the gearing, a lot of these items are super cheap. But let's see how this one performs. I want to mention this again. The EK version that I had yesterday had Empower level 4 and level 620 Awaken Gems. This one has just level 19 gems without anything. So, what we do is basically just basically tapping the Burning Arrow because we have so much attack speed, so we channel the snipe quite fast. And if there is a tanky monster, then obviously you can just hold down the snipe, load up some stages, and get like ridiculous amounts of damage multipliers on top, right? Then we have a Frenzy setup, so I'm basically... sometimes I'm just right-clicking to get like my Frenzy stacks up using the Frenzy support. And then we have this with, what do you say, with a Mirage Archer, that is basically combusting for extra minus res on the enemy. But overall, like, the first... Oh, don't let me die here. What the fuck? It just was blocked. Because you're gonna see now that every time I get hit, my life actually gets reserved instead of taking damage. And I'm gonna go over this kind of like tech in a bit. I quickly see what we're gonna get here. And yeah, basically... It is the Dissolution of Flesh, which gives you 30% more life, but instead of taking damage, you're reserving damage, and once you're not taking damage for 2 seconds, you're basically, recharging your life. The recharge of the energy shield based on the Eternal Youth keystone. So if I get a little bit of damage here, you see that my life gets reserved, and if I don't take damage for like 2 seconds, we're basically losing this reserve thingy and recover all of our life, which shouldn't be the worst thing to do, like we had it over here. I mean, if there is like a Soul Eater freaking mob, it can get rough, right? But with the extra tankiness that we're gonna have later on, it shouldn't be absolutely no problem tanking like a shit ton of hits, basically. Because at the moment, I don't have spell suppression. I recently just got ailment immune, so I'm now running Malevolence. I don't have a Watcher's Eye. There is like... Dude, there is so much stuff that we still have to do in this build, but it's like, it feels so fucking smooth and good to play, honestly. And don't forget, this is a Deli mirror strat, so once we're approaching the end of the map, we're fighting against 100% Deli monsters, right? So bosses do have a ridiculous amount of life, but we're still hopefully gonna be fine doing all of that. And then with the Exploded Flask, with the Ignite Proliferation from the Barracks Respite, we just have like insane clear. Problem is just a little bit on this strat here. Wait a second, Jeweler Orbs, doesn't really matter. That with Deli, there is just so many monsters randomly spawning, right? So it just can be that there's just monsters randomly like attacking you and stop you from resetting your life reservation, right? But then you just Frost Blink away and just run away a little bit. Don't forget to tap target, but as you see, I'm not really getting a lot of damage. The key factor is just being ailment immune and being like dot immune, right? So having like bleed immunity, having poison immunity, everything that can dodge you, you want to get rid of that, because otherwise you will never be able to gain no damage for like 2 seconds. And it's kind of like the key aspect here. So there has to be a lot of min-maxing to make this build really good and shine. So we are approaching the end of the map. I already feel that because the monsters are getting like really tanky right now. Just gonna kite a bit, loading up a big freaking snipe, trying to reach some modifiers here. And every time you feel in danger, you just run away, let your life pool reset, and you're back in business, right? Getting some frenzy charges up. There is like the boss room, so I know I'm at the end of the map. Quick portal drop just in case, because stuff can always happen, right? But just damage-wise, it is just so much better, and the potential is going to be absolutely ridiculous, and I cannot wait to min-max this build further to see if we can just one-tap uber bosses and so on and so forth. So let me quickly clear off this rest of these couple monsters. Oh shit, 3 seconds. So I'm running in, loading this shit up. I hope I don't die here. I actually missed my arrows. Fuck. No, don't do this to me. Die. Did they die before? Yes, they died. I got my extra stack. But yeah, was close, but I think it's like based on explaining and stuff that I'm not playing that good. But 146 simulacrum thingies here. Super nice. It's like half a simulacrum means about... What is a simulacrum? Should be around like 50 chaos roundabout, I would say. So 25 sieges by completing that. And now we can basically go back. And the better you gear, then you can just pick up all the loot while you're actually doing the map, which saves you a lot of time. And this is basically going to be my next farming strategy. I want to do like 100 of these maps with like some budget scarabs, because, you know, I don't really want to spend like a divine per map for doing like a currency farming strat. So I'd rather have like 5 scarabs that are basically, you know, just cost 1C in bulk, and that's pretty much it. That's basically what I'm going to do. So hopefully I'm going to stay at like 15 chaos per map investment. Then we're going to run 100 of those and see how much divines per hour we can make with that kind of strategy. So, how much are we looting off this map? I think I can loot later. Let's talk quickly about the other things that are happening on the build. For our setup, as I said, we have Burning Arrow, the Snipe with the basically faster... or at least like with the stages, trying to get a lot of speed. But there is another way of playing this instead of like LE damage or something with the Aeronova support. So you're basically tapping that and have like kind of like circular clear, similar to EK. And I think later on, if you have like Awakened GMP, Awakened Aeronova support, and maybe a corrupted Widow Hail with +1 arrow, I think this might be like super fun to just run around, have your cursor in front of you, same as the EK, and have like your circular clear, so that might be quite fine. But for currently, I'd rather play it with the normal version. Then I have some faster Ignite gloves. Is that Delve modifier? I bought them for 20 chaos, but they are currently, I think there's only 1 pair now available for 100 divines, so people on stream just bought everything. Polaric Devastation, Died and Dawn, nothing too crazy over here. Ashes can get expensive. I bought mine perfectly rolled for 11 divines today, or 12 divines, so it is still affordable, right? And yeah, I mean, gem links and stuff you can take on the what do you say, POB in the description below. Just had a 12-hour stream, so if I'm a little bit brain AFK, then this is the reason. So let's quickly talk about the dissolution of Flesh combo here, so you see how that one works. I'm gonna make a separate build guide once I actually have this build finally like got out, right? So without the dissolution of Flesh, we are having life regen, right? And with it, we don't have it, because now basically we're degenning. But the thing is, like, the 30% more life is just so insane that you don't really want to miss it, right? But what happens with that is that every time you take damage, as you see, this gives like 3,500 life. It's like pretty crazy. But when you get hit, you're just basically reserving all that life. And the best counteract for that is basically to get evasion and just not get hit, basically. And I'm gonna show you quickly Blood Rage, how that works. So just as an example, what happens if you are not bleed immune, if you're not poison immune. And I got my bleed immunity on my Barracks or Spite over here. I got poison immunity over here. You can take a Watcher's Eye with poison immune, bleed immune. You can take Flask, whatever it is, right? But let me quickly buy a Blood Rage to showcase that. So, level 1 Blood Rage, we just pop it in here somewhere and activate it. Basically what happens here is you're just degenning and you're reserving your life basically from Blood Rage. You need to not get damage for 2 seconds basically to stop that from happening, right? And this is basically why you cannot have Blood Rage or any dot on you. So ailment immune is like key. Corrupted Blood immunity you can get from Protection Mastery, and as I said, bleed immunity and stuff you can get Watcher's Eye or a Corruption or something like that, or a Flask in the worst case scenario. Good, I'm getting Endurance charges with the Enduring Composure on my Megalomaniac, and what else is there to say? Eternal Youth. So we have less life regeneration rate, but our energy recharge is applied instead of life. So what that basically means, we're not taking damage. We never take damage because we're just reserving life, and reserving life doesn't count as taking damage. So that means our recharge is always active. You see that as soon as I'm having this gone, I'm having like, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 life per second. This is because of the recharge happening to life instead of ES based on the Eternal Youth Keystone. Then we run Resolute Technique, so we don't care about our accuracy and anything else here. Not really. Link is in the description below, and I'm gonna make a dedicated build guide once I fletch this out. But I just wanted to make like a, you know, a first take on the build in the comparison. And as I said, like half the price of the EK and like way stronger. So I'm really looking forward to min-max this even further. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. It was a long video, I know, and see you on the next one.